Hello and welcome to your Living a Course in Miracles call. Today is October 25th, 2019, but in Australia it's October 26th, 2019. And I am Jared Krebs. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas with
Sue-Ann Okerwald-Knobloch.
Sue-Ann Okerwald-Knobloch. We are excited about the last 26 minutes of Chapter 9, which we will be discussing today. Chapter 9, when I refer to that, that's Chapter 9 of the text of A Course in Miracles. And that can be found also with this book here called Journey Through the Text by Ken Wapnick. And you can follow in the video, which is in the description of this link, of this video. You can see the original video that we watch every week. I'm excited because I took a lot of notes. I'm excited to share my notes. I have some stuff that I'm gonna share that's pretty cool, and that's why I'm excited about the call.
All right.
Who wants to go next? What's your name? Where are you calling in from? And why are you excited about today?
Should I go next, Sue-Ann?
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm Barbara Rudman, and I try not to miss these. I'm from Westchester, New York. And I'm excited. As I say, I'm studying this massive document, and I love the support. I don't know if I could ever do this on my own. It's like, it's world changing. I mean, literally, figuratively, and it's a big deal. I mean, you know, and I get it, but I just have to get it more and more deeply. You know,
yes.
It's at the periphery, and I know it intellectually, but it has to really come home, and you know, it has to take years, as they say. So I mean, it's very important to have the network and like-minded people.
For sure. Well, awesome. Thank you, Barbara. We're super excited to hear what you have to say today about Chapter 9, and congratulations on your study and your evolution with the course, and thank you for your kind words. We appreciate that you are so consistent on the call. And
thanks for having this.
Yeah, of course.
At the right time.
I know, it is a good time for sure. All right, Sue-Ann, would you like to go?
Yeah, so I'm excited, and it's really also cool to hear people in all different places with their study, but you know, it really doesn't make any difference. We're all going to get back to the same place, you know. And but I hear you talking about that, and I'm totally with you. You know, it was like years of just trying to integrate it, and then years of sort of doing it, and then some years of doing the advanced forgiveness process. So it's years. Maybe some people could just get it instantaneously. I know Ken talks about that, you know, but most of us would be like afraid because it's so different in how you perceive things. It can be kind of a shock. I've shared that with Jared. Like, there's been for the last 6 months, it's been really different, and it's been hard to deal with it because I just didn't know how to live in this other new way. So anyway,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you're awakening, literally.
I don't know what it is.
For sure.
I don't know.
Well, I think
something's happening.
I just, you know, it actually reminds me of part of Chapter 9 where he talks about how the direct approach is to just awaken and accept the atonement and awaken. But that's too strong for most of us. So we need to just do forgiveness lessons, because that's more of the indirect approach. If I can forgive what I think is out there, eventually I'll make it back to that point where I can go direct. But we can't go direct right away because it's too much. It's too almost good in a way, or too strong of the God energy.
I got that, because
yeah.
I hear a lot of stories. I follow this show, Buddha at the Gas Pump. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but he interviews awakening people. He's over 500 people, and some of them awaken spontaneously, and it takes them 2 years to integrate, like Eckhart Tolle. You know, like it was very, very quick, but it took him years to integrate. So, you know, everybody happens differently.
I'm glad you said that, Barbara, because I need help to know that what I'm doing is normal. When something starts happening, you're like, is this normal? And nobody else knows about this, and no one understands.
I'll give you the website. It's a
We'll
wonderful show.
You know, Barbara, could you post that in our group?
That's what I was going to do.
See it too.
Okay.
Love to look at that.
You know, I studied Eckhart Tolle prior to finding the course, and I found it difficult because it was like Eckhart, he was suicidal. He went through all this like darkness, and then his awakening was spontaneous, and it just seemed like it's like I can't do what Eckhart did, you know, and
he was living on a park bench.
It's not duplicatable, and so
he was homeless.
Yeah, like he was homeless. He sat on a park bench, and people like just come and started listening to him, and now he's famous and rich. You know, like it's like I can't do what Eckhart did, right? So like, how can I awaken? You know, it's like, so I studied Eckhart a lot, and I appreciate who he is and what he brings to the table. But why I love the course more is because it's like something that I can do, something that I can
sink your teeth
study
into
and sink my teeth into and actually progress. Because it always felt like Eckhart was up here and I was down here. Like I couldn't close the gap. And I still love Eckhart, but it's just like I stopped studying it because I couldn't. I felt like it, you know, he didn't talk about forgiveness. He talked about staying in the present moment. He talked about other things,
right?
Which also works. You know, there's more than one way to enlighten.
You and I are good. We say the same thing.
Yeah. So definitely,
right
cool that you mentioned that, and that the course is more for somebody who's not able to do an initial immediate enlightenment thing, you know, or whatnot. So thank you for saying that. And yes, I want to see that. Please share that. That Buddha.
It's great.
That sounds cool.
That I would probably look at because I hardly ever look at anything else. I've never really read much of Eckhart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not The Power Now.
Yeah.
Self-study over and over and over again. That's what I've done.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Well, let's get into chapter 9. We were discussing 3 hours and 26 minutes through 3 hours and 53 minutes. That's the last part of chapter 29. I followed along here in the book, so I have some notes I'm going to read out to you. It's kind of a lot, but there's only 3 of us.
Yeah.
So
chapter 9.
Chapter 9. This is the last. I just followed along with the book. There was a lot of, well, not a lot, but there were a few parts that are not in the video that the book gives you this bonus content. But anyway, I'm going to just start by reading some of these things that stood out to me. Okay. Archetypal thought that we all have. We all think this. I am a miserable sinner and I deserve to be punished. We all think that at some deeper level. And that's why in this dream, bodies are born, live, and die to prove that we deserve punishment. So all these bodies are going to die just to make a point. But when we correct the error firmly, but with kind intent, we are saying that their sins do not need to be punished. So this is like when somebody is maybe acting out of the ego, and let's say like my sister, and instead of attacking her and going back at her, I look at her, I smile, and I think loving thoughts, and I see the light behind the ego, and I don't try and attack her. I'm basically telling her, without saying it, that her sins do not need to be punished because sin isn't real anyways. And that this invalidates the ego's illusion. This literally invalidates the ego's illusion and the foundation of sin, guilt, and fear. So this is huge what I'm doing. When I overlook the error, the ego reaction she might be having, and I see beyond that darkness to the light that still is in her. I keep talking about my sister because that's my form that I need to forgive, right? Or whatnot. Andrew, welcome to the call, my man. All right, so I'm sharing my notes, Andrew. All right.
Linda.
Did Linda join too?
I see her name is up there.
Okay, welcome Linda as well. All right, so that's a big thing. I'm invalidating the ego when I look beyond the darkness to the light. Now, we still correct the error at the level of form, but we do it with gentleness instead of anger. So I might not let her push me around. I might be kind when I say that, hey, you can't push me around. I'm not going to do this or that, but I will do this and that. And I'll say it with a nice tone. And that will show that I'm not angry and that I'm not going to let her push me around, but that I'm still like firm in that, not letting the ego control it, right? Like her ego, like push me around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a shift. Okay, so this is another big thing. Only if we believe there is a world that can be affected by anything, which there isn't. So there isn't a world. He said that. There isn't a world.
I know.
And so that's like, it's like, what is this then? It's an illusion. It's a hologram. It's a hallucination. Okay. And A Course in Miracles is difficult. I like how he said it's difficult, because I'm like, God, this is kind of a technical read here. A Course in Miracles is difficult because it reverses every rule, principle, and law that the world holds dear. So, I mean, we've worked so hard to create this ego and this way of relating, and A Course in Miracles reverses all of that. And so it's hard. Fairy tales can be pleasant or feel fearful, but no one calls them true, right? So right now I'm having a pretty pleasant fairy tale. I'm happy, I'm making money, I have friends, I'm healthy, but it's not real. It's not true. And when it goes fearful, when something bad happens, I'm going to remember that. It's not true, it's not real. Reacting to people's errors means we have made them real for us. So if my sister makes me mad and I react, then that means I've made it real and fail. Okay. If I catch myself reacting in any way besides with peace, kindness, and understanding, I need to ask for Jesus's help as quickly as possible.
Right.
And reacting is not a sin. If I get mad at my sister and I act from my ego and I argue with her, it's not a sin, because sin doesn't exist. It is just a mistake that I chose the ego over Jesus in that moment. It doesn't make me happy, and it doesn't work. That's the only thing. It's like, it's not a sin. It's just a mistake, but it still doesn't work. The ego thought system doesn't
Takes
work.
you out of peace.
Yeah, for sure. I can heal my brothers only by perceiving the sanity in them. If I want to give mine to the Holy Spirit, I must do so with theirs. This is the way I must handle all errors to undo mine. So the fact that I handle my sister's errors in this way undoes mine. And that's really important to me. Okay. It's kind of ridiculous. This is the way I must handle all errors to undo mine. The only reaction that makes sense is peace. And that is not a reaction, but a state of mind, right? Mm-hmm. Staying in the state of mind of peace. If I react, I am throwing away the mind's power. I am demonstrating that the decision for the ego is right, that the mind is sinful, escape must come through hiding in this body and world, and blaming any thought that differentiates among the members of the sonship is of the ego. Our lesson is that we are minds, and on that level, we are all the same. So that isn't that interesting that by reacting to my sister who triggers me intentionally, mm-hmm. by reacting to her, I'm telling her that the ego is right, mm-hmm. and that we need to escape from this into bodies, and like I am literally reinforcing the ego in her and in myself. Right. By reacting. And I'm totally justified to be upset, because I could tell you guys and you guys would agree with me. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to do that anymore, because I know what's going on now, right? Like I know what I'm doing. When correcting behavior, our words and actions need to reflect the inherent sameness of God's Son. So again, I'm not going to let her push me around, but I need to still see the inherent sameness that she has with me, like the inherent need to awaken from this nightmare, and the inherent also the inherent Christ that's in her. We misuse the mind to miscreate through projection, and we can be taught to choose again. We can learn this. We can actually learn this. There's a whole page here that was not in the video. Okay. I need to become good at seeing the ways that I subtly exclude certain people from my love, just see it, acknowledge it, but don't judge myself for it. So I'm still very sly. Like, I'm spiritual Jared. I run this Course in Miracles call. Oh, I'm so great. But then I'm very subtle in how I can still like be an ego. And so he's saying, just see it and just say, okay, that's what I'm doing because I'm an ego like everyone else, and I no longer wish to practice such self-centeredness and hate. So when negation of the ego's negation, I'm doing negation of the ego's negation of love. It's a double negative. But when I negate the ego, I reverse my identification with the ego's principle of separate interests, and I see shared interests. So we're trying to watch for that ego reaction, that ego thought system. And when I can catch it, I'll negate the ego. I must look at my ego ways of relating to the world with Jesus' love beside me and look beyond them to the light that's shining through. I'm still going to do things that an ego needs to do. I'm still going to breathe. I'm still going to drink. I'm still going to eat. But I'm going to like watch with Jesus' love beside me to see the light shining through. I must remember that my identity as Christ is shared, and that is sharing that sharing is its reality. So if I share it with you, that's the reality. Calling upon a different teacher allows the mind's choice for harmfulness to be transformed into helpfulness. So when I ask for Jesus' help, that actually transforms it into helpfulness. If attack is fear, and I react with attack, I am reinforcing the fear and ego. Using fear to undo fear doesn't work. The question is always, with whom am I doing this behavior, the ego or the Holy Spirit? Before I act, I need to go above the battleground, return to the mind, bring all my misperceiving thoughts to Jesus, and look beyond sin that was never there, and then I act. So that's important, right? Because again, it's not about what the behavior is. It's not about feeling guilty because I'm having a good time. Just have a good time with the Holy Spirit from that vantage point. Have a beer, have a fun time, have dinner, breathe air, take vitamins. Don't feel guilty about it, but do it from the Holy Spirit's mindset. What has no effect does not exist. So none of this exists. Seems real though. Demonstrating to others who have seemingly hurt me that they have done nothing to remove me from the peace of God. Right? Like if I can do that, then I'm like with God, right? So that's it. I didn't even finish. I have 6 minutes left. I still have like a page left. But that is chapter 9. Those were my highlights. Thank you for listening. Who's next? What was your highlights from chapter 9?
You want? Let's say hello to the newcomers.
Sure. Andrew, Linda, welcome.
Anna Lee was there too.
Oh, Anna Lee.
Yeah, Linda came and went.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
There's
Anna Lee.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the call.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Awesome. Glad you're here too. All right, Barbara's going to share. What was your highlights from chapter 9?
All right. Well, I summarized it in a few lines.
Okay.
So you see the face of Christ in our brother and remember our oneness together in God. Stop making it real. It's not really happening. It's all an illusion. And choose the Holy Spirit by releasing the friction and release the friction to the Holy Spirit. Know that we are all whole in God and that there is no problem, only love.
Yes, there is no problem.
Right.
We
But
think
there's
that
love.
there are a ton of problems to handle every day,
Right.
but really there is no problem.
Just-
Time doesn't exist and there is no time, and this is just some hologram. This is some hallucination. And
the Holy Spirit is fixing everything.
yeah, Holy Spirit's in charge. I mean, it's a peaceful way to live, you know. I mean, that's really great. Thank you.
I'm going to share my little thing, even though I didn't watch. So everybody knows I posted on there, like I might be able to get a chance to do it. But to listen, but I did not. So
you told me you did, didn't you? Didn't you?
I told everybody that was sure going to try.
I thought you responded. Okay.
This is how I end up living my life, is that like I'm listening all the time, constantly, as I just move through everything as to what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I'm constantly hearing what to be doing. And I was supposed to be doing some completely different things than this. And it's a very nice way to live also, because you end up just forgiving it all and knowing it's just a story. Like they say, the script is written. So I went along with what the script was written, and it did not include listening to this last part. And that's great.
Yeah, it is.
What I did was so awesome, and it was important in its own right. So.
Well, and that's also a reflection of not making the course an ego thing.
Right.
Because
very good.
Like, I'm very much in that thought of like, I'm so proud and I'm so special that I got chapter 9 done, and I'm just so great. And if I don't get it done, now I'm pissed off because I didn't get my, so that's like being deceived by the ego again.
Yeah.
And making the course, you actually turn the course into an ego thing too.
So how are you going to treat that?
Right. So like, it's great that you didn't make it that, you didn't study it. Who cares? You're here and you are okay.
But Jared,
yeah,
it on one level, it may be an ego thing, but there's a deeper level that you're passionate about it, and you need to do it. You want to do it. Spirit wants you to do it. This is what you thrive on. So that's really the truth of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I studied 20 out of the 26 minutes, and I'm 6 minutes behind, and I will make it up. But I'm not mad about it. I'm not like all messed up about it. Yes.
I miss what
I have a drive. Trust me, I have a definite high drive to study the content for sure.
What did you miss? Oh, you missed 4 minutes of it. Oh, you stopped it.
Everything I shared with you was everything from the first 20 minutes. I didn't do the last 6.
Oh, okay.
So
that 6 may be supposed to be in a different spot of time.
Yeah, I'll study it this weekend.
That's meaningful for some reason.
I just couldn't get to it. I mean, just
there's a reason.
Yeah. But I was happy what I did study. I did get I spent a long time on those 20 minutes,
Right. More than 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Barbara. All right. Andrew or Annalie or Linda, what were your highlights from chapter 9?
I didn't have the time to read chapter 9, but I just from listening to you talk and recap it, I got a few goodies. You mentioned something about reversing the way of the Holy Spirit is kind of reversing, is seeing that our laws are different to God's laws. So like realizing that sometimes you think maybe it'll take a lot of time to get to a certain place or something in my spiritual development, but that's kind of based on my own laws. Whereas like anything can in God's realm, like anything's possible and anything can happen, and I'm unlimited. I've just jotted down a few little things. I really liked how you said, with whom am I doing this behavior? With the Holy Spirit or the ego? I think that's a really good thing for me to practice all the time. Like whenever I'm about to say something or about to ask a question, I can ask myself, who is this coming from? Is this coming from the Holy Spirit or the ego? And usually you can just get the answer straight away. It's not true. Undoing other, my lesson for today is to give and to receive are one in truth. And you talked about how when we see someone else with maybe a negative mind state, it's affecting, it's not only kind of, it's not only bad for maybe the other person, but it's also bad for yourself. So whatever you give, you're receiving. So when we give love and compassion and stuff, it's, that's what we're going to be receiving. Yeah, that's basically what I've the gold nuggets from your little summary. So thanks, Jared.
My pleasure. Wow, you got a lot from that, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
Love it. Love it. Super exciting. It reminds me of when Jesus says that we are just like him, except in time, and time doesn't exist. So what does that mean?
Means we're just like him.
That means we're just like him. So it's kind of funny he says it that way, right? But it makes you feel good, because it's like, okay, this time that we think is real, and we're so like caught up in the calendar and living our life of time, and it's just an illusion. And we still need to do the work. We still need to do the study, but we are deep down exactly like Jesus in that enlightened state. And I mean, we're just bringing this dream of separation to an end. We're getting the job done this lifetime, okay?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Who's next? Thank you, Andrew. Who's next? Adelie or Linda? Annalie, go ahead.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
So, yep, I seem to have joined the club today. Haven't done my homework, but that's okay. It's all okay. So I actually had an experience yesterday, like you, Sue-Ann. I was called somewhere else. And the experience, I could keep for forgiveness in the field, so I could probably do that. In terms of Ken's stuff, I'm kind of listening to Ken fairly regularly with his other pieces as well, and he's really, really big on recognizing the ego. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm just really watching every single thought pretty much now. I just had a train ride, so it took me quite a while to get home. I ended up staying out of town last night. I didn't have a charger, so I wasn't able to watch the meeting out there. So I got a train back home to be on the meeting, because it's really important to me. So it doesn't matter that I didn't read the latest chapter 9. I just want to join with you guys in this amazing journey of awakening, and recognizing the ego is the big one. That's Ken's forte, and that's where I'm at. I'm just looking at all my thoughts right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Annalie. That's awesome that you took the train home to be on the call. Rock and roll. Thank you for doing that. Your presence definitely makes a difference and adds to the value of our call. Really appreciate that. Thank you for making a cameo on my Instagram. Check it out later. And, you're just like right in the teaching. You're just like at the forefront of the teachings and studying it. And it's awesome to watch you, and also to pay attention to your posts on social media and in our little chat that we do. You're just doing so awesome. So thank you for supporting all of us and helping more people also get connected to the group. And I mean, it's just like awesome to know you. So hope you come to San Antonio, April 4th, 2020. Let's go.
Sounds exciting. And I'm a mirror for you, Jared, and for you, Sue-Ann, and for everyone, all our brothers and sisters. We're mirrors for each other. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Pettigrew, where are you? You look like you're in a car with some sunglasses in the sun. Are you in Australia?
No, I'm here in California.
Oh, you're in California. Okay. Oh, there's Mark. I see Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
What were your highlights from chapter 9, Linda?
Okay, it's like if you really want to put effort into doing something, you just have to like try and push yourself. But the main thing is that if you really want to do it. For myself, like I want to get up and try and clean house. That's if I have the time and strength and energy to do it. But right now, I mean, if I get very tired, oh forget it. I just like to just relax on the couch. I cannot do anything. But most likely, time and strength and energy is at the highest peak early in the morning. And that's when I can do everything. And then after breakfast, I have to relax. Because I guess like some people, when I go to eat, I have to relax, maybe for at least an hour or so. So you really have to like push yourself into doing something you really want to love. That's what you have to do. It's like you have to invoke the divine to really help you to do what that's what you want to do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Great to see you. You're looking awesome.
Oh.
Love the headband. All right. All right. Well, let's get right to forgiveness in the field. What was that?
I try to.
Thank you, Linda. I think I accidentally muted you. Shoot. Thank you, Linda. All right. Okay. So let's go right to forgiveness in the field. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Let's do 2 minutes apiece. Might end a little early. Might end a little early tonight. Okay. If someone goes over 2 minutes, then that's okay too. But let's see here. Okay. 1 second. I got to get the timer. Okay, so I'm going to start forgiveness in the field. I had a good week. I didn't have much to forgive. Okay, here we go. 2 minutes. All right. So my forgiveness in the field has to do with my workouts. So I work out in a controlled environment so I do not injure myself, okay? I don't play basketball. I don't do stuff because I run a business. I don't want to get injured. So I work out in a controlled environment. I do workout videos and everything else. So I'm in my controlled environment on Tuesday, and I'm doing my high knees, you know, when you're jumping up in your high knees. And then I accidentally like step on this little ball that's in the workout gym, and it twists my knee. Like I sprained, not my knee, my ankle. I sprained my ankle, and I'm like, God damn it. Like, and like, I'm kind of like jumping around like, oh crap, I sprained my ankle. And then I'm like, and then I'm pissed off and I have nobody to blame. I can't blame you, Sue-Ann. I cannot blame any of you. I can't blame Crystal. I can't blame, it was just there, you know? And it was like, I just was like, I can't blame anybody. This sucks. And I just noticed my ego like wanting to blame. I guess the best part is noticing that your ego wants to blame something, right? And I mean, I said, well, maybe I can blame myself because I attracted it through law of attraction, you know, like, which I mean, I know there is law of attraction and everything, but like that also kind of felt like, well, now I'm blaming myself. Like I just still want to blame something, you know? And so I forgave it. I gave it to the Holy Spirit. I noticed the blaming. Blame the gym, I guess, but I don't want to blame stuff anymore. I'm tired of that. I said, Holy Spirit, please help me. I don't want to blame stuff anymore. I don't want to be miserable anymore. I don't want to be right and like be the person that's a victim anymore. So that's my 2 minutes, but my ankle has healed since Tuesday. I've forgiven it. I gave it to the Holy Spirit. I asked the Holy Spirit for help. I tried to see the ego reaction. I told my wife the same thing. I can't blame anybody. I love to blame my wife. She's one of the best to blame. That's why you have special relationships. But like, at least I'm seeing it, right? Like, I'm seeing that I want to blame someone. I wanted to blame my wife for not putting the dishes away, and she's so funny because she calls me out. She's like, "You're just wanting to project your guilt," because she knows what's up.
Does she do it too?
she's not on these calls, but she goes to the Gary Renard things we have,
Okay.
and she's
She
pretty
understands.
she's hip to it. She's not negative about it, but she doesn't study it like formally like I study
see.
it. But she definitely knows what's going on, and she's
Okay.
also committed to forgiveness, and so she's great
That's-
that way. But anyway, I've gone way over, but yeah, so I'm okay. I'm doing all right. But that was my forgiveness and feel. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Mine real quick.
Okay.
Okay,
Because
go.
it really plays on to what you just said. So hilariously enough, okay, so this is a work one. So my boss, so I have two levels of bosses, right? And my big boss, branch manager, and then there's the RN supervisor. So on Thursday and Friday, she took off, yesterday and today. And so Thursday morning, all of a sudden a problem came up, and but of course in business and whatever, it's like every day, every hour, something's coming up. So I found myself like I wanted to call her, and then I realized that I wanted to call her because then we can commiserate in the misery of the problem, right? And then she wasn't there, and I was like, and I knew I can't call my big boss because he's always like in the present moment. And he always like, what are we solving like right now? I'm not even looking at the past. He doesn't say that out loud, but that's just what he does. He just looks right now, and that's it. And then, but it wasn't the difference in how they dealt with it or how I deal with it or anything. It was like a Wizard of Oz thing, like looking behind the curtain, that I was enjoying this, grumpy complaining that my RN supervisor and I do. And when it wasn't there, it was just like the whole thing was just gone. It was like I was relieved of it, and I just didn't have to do it. And then I don't know if I have too much time left, but anyway, another very interesting problem came up today. I'm also learning how that I'm absolutely loving problems. Very, very strange. This is only like in the last 2 weeks. I just love problems. I almost wish they would come more because I just get so much peace and love out of them. It's very bizarre, right? Okay. So anyway, this morning, a case had come in and someone had asked me to forward it on like a month ago, right? Too many emails come through, every day at my day job. So it never happened. And then she even showed me all the nice things I'd said, but it never happened. But I called my big boss, who was the only one there, of course. So he didn't care about the past. He didn't care what I'd done. He's always supported me like 1,000 times for 20 years, right? And he just was in the moment, and he's like, we just need a referral. We just need a referral. He kept it very, very simple. The whole thing went away. But then I went back to her, and I told her, I said, I'm really sorry about all that. And I said, please do not listen to me. and then I said, please, I said, what we all need to be doing is we need to involve all of our supervisors. And this is kind of specific to what I do in the day job, but basically get everybody knowing, so that in case I drop the ball, there will be other people. And this applies to everybody. So I wasn't really blaming her. I was just like, let's all do this better. And please don't listen to me. And we all should know that like at my level, I wouldn't have been the one to take that referral anyway. And then I dropped the ball. But I do that about like once a year on that. But it's like, I don't care. And I just feel peaceful and loving. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. And I really like problems. So I don't know. It's a very weird state to be in.
Great forgiveness in the field, and great notice of the desire to just complain.
Oh yeah.
So that you could feel like an ego, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something, right? But
and to have a certain person that you like hook up and do that with.
Yeah.
And when she wasn't there, it was like that other heart, like it takes two to tango.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, it was just. Whew.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Thank you, Sue-Ann. Great. I mean, again, it's not about feeling guilty about it. It's just about noticing it. Because if you can notice the ego reaction without judging yourself, then you're winning. That's when you're doing what you're supposed to. If you notice it and you say, I'm an idiot, I'm stupid, I'm being an ego, then now you're judging the judgment. Right. And so that's when it gets,
I definitely did start with that. No, I went through those emotions, but it was only like not even 5 minutes. And all of a sudden I was just like, man, I love this. This is growth. I love this. And it just like, fills my heart.
It's awesome.
And you're aware.
That's right. Okay, who's next? What was your forgiveness in the field?
Me.
Okay, Annalie, go.
Sue Ann, I've really been picking up on your joy lately. It's so inspiring.
Thank you.
And I really get what you say when you say, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the problems, because it's such a great opportunity. And I feel like I'm there now, finally. I'm actually looking forward to the next time I feel upset. And my forgiveness in the field actually happened 2 days ago, and it's been expanding since then. It's really hard to find the words because I'm aware as soon as I start speaking, I'm out of the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the interesting part of like being in form and using words.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been doing a lot of is just a lot of Byron Katie work. Are you all familiar with Byron Katie's? Oh, okay. So, Sue Ann, I thought you might have been really familiar with it just by the way you said you're looking forward to the problems, because that's part of Byron Katie's work. I'd thoroughly recommend her to anyone who wants to do forgiveness and undo the ego.
Cool.
So I've been doing a lot of her work, and I called up a volunteer on the helpline. She has volunteers who are working around the clock to take you through a worksheet and do forgiveness on something that's bothering you. So for me, there was something that seemed to be current that was really bothering me, really upset me. I was in a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And basically, you work with a statement like something like, such and such shouldn't do this, or in order for me to be happy, such and such should behave in this way. So I worked with that, and it took me back to a memory from my childhood. And so I worked with that, and I dissolved it. I dissolved the charge. I dissolved this story that I've been carrying for 40 years.
Wow.
Yay!
Way to go.
Wow.
Way to go.
And I'm so happy. It's like I just feel this joy now, and it was like an awakened moment for me. There is hope. And on the train ride home, I asked Holy Spirit to show me a sign. And as I went past a building with a sign poster, it said, "Never give up."
Ooh.
So that's where I'm at. I'm never going to give up. I'm just
right.
going to do this.
That's right. Failure is not an option. Hey, will you share that phone number and info on our group page for the Byron Katie hotline?
Yes.
That'd be great. Whenever
Yes.
we're triggered, we could call it up and talk to someone. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I
Beautiful.
haven't read the book, The Work by Byron Katie, but my direct mentor, who I talk to twice a month, and I've been working with her directly, LaRue, for like 10 years, was mentored directly by Byron Katie.
Hmm.
And
Oh, wow.
this was back like in the day before Byron Katie was like mega famous.
Mhm.
And Byron Katie got so famous that she could no longer do calls with LaRue.
Mm.
But it's just a cool story. But like Byron
That
Katie
is
is
cool.
awesome. And
But
I'd
she's
like
got
to
an
do
army.
more with that. What?
She's got an army of people that are doing the work
Yes.
for her.
That's right.
It's not just one
Yes.
person now. She harnessed a whole network of
Heck
her
yeah.
work.
Please drop that info,
that's-
please, Annalie.
I will. And the beautiful thing too is that you can do the work without paying any money. Like if you want to go do a workshop and pay the money, fantastic. But it's also open to people who, feel for some reason or another that they don't have the funds. Yeah. So I love that about, people who are out there doing the work and helping others.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Thank you, Annalie.
So Annalie said something that really hit home, very, very, it kind of fed into something that's going on with me, but never give up. I don't know if I was going to talk about it today or not, but I know that I don't have that much to, my forgiveness is real quick, but this is just a little aside. I had this thought that this is too hard. I can't do it. This is not, I'm not cut out for it. Like my ego is too overpowering. I don't have enough Holy Spirit in me to fight this. It's a thought that comes in. It's gotten me to quit many other times. It happened the other day, and I noticed it, and I said, well, I noticed it. It's there. It's nothing new, but never give up. That's really probably a message to me. You can have the thoughts, but that doesn't mean you have to quit. Anyway, I have a real classic forgiveness. Somebody very near and dear to me got kind of aggressive at a conversation that we were having, and I was a little taken back at the hostility in it because it wasn't really called for. It was a little overreactivity. So I said that this course has got to kick in here. So I'm not reacting to that. So I took a deep breath, and I understood that it was coming from fear, frustration, and I saw the love beyond it. And I totally deactivated it. It's not only did I get a direct apology, but I got a phone call later in the day specifically. I can't believe that you don't deserve that. I don't know how. I'm under a lot of stress, blah, blah, blah. I said, don't even think about it. You're not guilty. And I wasn't harboring anything.
You said that to her?
Yeah, you did nothing wrong.
What a
you're just
boss.
expressing your thoughts and feelings, and I love you, and I get it, and it's cool.
Dude, you just crushed the ego thought system right there. Crushed it. Way to go. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Barbara. That's big time. That's big for all of us. All right. Andrew, forgiveness in the field.
Okay. Yeah, well, I had an experience a while ago where I was on placement, and I had a teacher who wasn't I felt that wasn't very supportive and helpful. And once the placement finished, we kind of just parted ways. It didn't really end very well. And yeah, just last night, I decided to message her and just say, sorry that it didn't end very well between us. I think that you're a beautiful person and a good teacher, and I hope you all the best. And yeah, so I thought that it was, although it was kind of, because I had a lot of aversion towards her, but it was just really good to move on from that and let it go. And yeah, I'm just done with any like negative feelings or anything towards her. Just kind of let them go and move on. Don't really need to hold on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big congratulations. That is what it's all about right there, Andrew. Well done, sir. That's when you know you're winning, when you're forgiving stuff and you really have a sincere desire not to be right and justified, and instead you clear the energy and you move on and ask the Holy Spirit for help. It's like, that's the work. Love it. All right.
Thanks,
yes. Linda Pettigrew, I think, has left the call. Yeah, okay. She was our last person to share. So we have come to the end. All right. So, oops. Trying to close that. Okay. So what we are going to do is we're going to start chapter 10 next week. Congratulations. You have graduated chapter 9. And now you'll get to go to chapter 10. And I'm going to post it at the end of this call. I already have it ready. I've talked to Tommy Dominic. Shout out to Tommy Dominic, who is the guy who edits our video. He takes out the Beethoven music so we don't get the YouTube copyright issue. So it's ready. The video's ready. I've been waiting and holding it for you till this very moment. So I'm going to upload it at the end of this call. And then we can obviously start to study the first 30 minutes of chapter 10. Oh, and now Linda's back. Okay, so Linda, is there any forgiveness in the field you want to share? Is there anything you forgave or anybody you forgave this week you want to share? I'll unmute you.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
I guess with my schedule, okay. I mean, just before I came on, Mark decided, he says, "Oh, let's go to the 6 o'clock AA meeting here in Palmdale." And I was like, "Okay, great." So I grabbed my phone, and I was just putting the Course in Miracles meeting on as I was trying to get to the car. So Mark says, "Oh, why didn't you tell me you're gonna put the meeting on?" I said, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." So I guess I should have told him I was gonna put the meeting on, but I didn't want to make an issue of it, so it was my fault. So I just know that next time I'll just have to maybe just let anybody know if I have to do a Zoom meeting. That's basically it. It's really nothing big, but I guess I was just a little off of my timing.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I'm worried about is just walking and getting there.
Yeah. Well, great, Linda. Great job for giving that. That's still awesome. Remember, there is no order in difficulties. So forgiving that little thing is just the same as forgiving a big, huge blow up. And very great job on doing that. I hope you have a great meeting here in 7 minutes at your other place. I'm glad you got on. Great job for getting on still, no matter what. You're always here.
So what's the next chapter? Chapter 10?
Chapter 10. I'm going to post it tonight, and y'all can all start it. It's going to be the first 30 minutes. I haven't even looked at chapter 10 because I still have the last 6 minutes of chapter 9 I'm going to do. But I'm excited because, man, this content is rocking my world. So we're going to end the call with that information. Again, look for the Course in Miracles pinned post. I will have the new video up tonight. We will be studying the first 30 minutes of chapter 10. And I should have Gary Renard on one of these calls here in the next little while because we're talking to him on Monday, planning our April 4th event. So watch out for that. I'll let y'all know. And that's what I have for you. So again, let's go ahead and unmute the lines. Everyone unmute yourself and say good night and God bless.
Good night and
Good night and God bless.
Good night and God bless.
Good day. Good
Good
day,
day,
mate.
Australia.
Yeah. Day.
Yeah, right.